agents had caught his attention weeks ago. Their eyes met, and he saw his curiosity reflected in her gaze. The old Makola market looked different at night. Shadows danced between abandoned stalls, and the usual cacophony of traders had been replaced by an eerie silence. Ohene jumped at every sound, wondering if he'd made a mistake coming here. You showed up. The voice made him spin around. It was Addo, emerging from the darkness like an apparition. You followed me? I followed Kwame, she corrected, her voice steady despite the nervousness in her eyes. Something's not right about this. Before Ohene could respond, a metallic scraping sound drew their attention. Kwame appeared, grinning as he pulled aside what looked like an ordinary market grate, revealing a set of stairs descending into darkness. Welcome to real Accra, Kwame said, gesturing toward the opening, where everything has a price and anyone can be somebody. Ohene and Addo exchanged glances. The smart choice would be to walk away. Instead, they took their first steps toward the underground, unaware that this decision would change their lives forever. The stairs seemed endless. Their footsteps echoed against damp concrete walls, illuminated only by Kwame's phone light. The air grew thicker with each step, heavy with the scent of earth and something else. Possibility. How did you find this place? Addo whispered, her shoulder brushing against Owene's in the narrow passage. Questions come later, Kwame called back. First, you need to see. The passage opened into what looked like an abandoned subway station, except Accra didn't have a subway. The platform was full of teenagers, some from their school, others that didn't recognize. Tables were set up with everything from electronics to designer clothes, and money exchanged hands so quickly Ohene could barely keep up. This is impossible, Ohene breathed, watching money change hands faster than he could track. A girl in their school uniform approached, arms full of brand new laptops. First timers? She asked, eyeing them. Better talk to Ohema, means queen. She's picky about new faces. Who's Ohema? Addo asked. Kwame's face turned serious. She's the reason we're all here. Trust me, you don't want to keep her waiting. Ohema wasn't what Ohene and Addo expected. She wasn't a big tough boss like in the movies. She was a petite girl, maybe 16, wearing wire-rimmed glasses. She sat surrounded by older boys who looked like they could lift cars. Two new ones, Kwame. Her voice carried across the platform, soft but commanding. You know the rules. They're clean, Kwame assured her. Owen's grandmother runs the spice stall in Makola, and Addo I know who she is, Ohema interrupted, intensely studying Addo. Her father's the new police commissioner. Ohene felt Addo stiffen beside him. He hadn't known that. Ohema smiled, but it didn't reach her eyes. Welcome to Paradise Market. The first rule, what happens below stays below. The second rule, everyone contributes. Third rule, cross me and you wish you'd never heard of this place. She gestured to a thick ledger. Sign with your real names. Consider it your insurance policy and mine. Owene's hand trembled as he reached for the pen, not noticing how Ohema's gaze lingered on his surname. Paradise Market was organized chaos. Ohene watched in amazement as kids his age handled transactions with thousands of CDs. Addo stuck close, her fingers occasionally brushing his arm as if making sure he was still there. Here, Kwame handed them each a package. Smartphones. Sell them upside down for a double. Consider it your initiation. These aren't stolen, are they? Addo asked, examining the boxes. Kwame laughed. No, they're legit. Just bought creatively. Ohema doesn't deal in stolen stuff. Too risky. Suddenly, there was a commotion near the entrance. Two boys dragged in a teenager, his face bloody. He tried to follow Kemi, one of them explained to Ohema's guards. He wanted to know where we get the goods. Ohema appeared with a calm but dangerous look in her eyes. Take him to the room. The boy's screams echoed as he was dragged away. Ohene felt sick to his stomach. When he looked at Addo, her face was not afraid. She seemed to be thinking, calculating. Owen's heart thundered as he approached his first customer, a year 2 student from a private school. The exchange was quick. Phones for cash, no questions asked. The money felt heavy in his pocket, more than he'd ever held. Easy, right? Addo appeared beside him, already sold both her phones. Almost too easy. Their eyes met, sharing an unspoken concern. But before they could discuss it, Kwame rushed over. Ohema wants to see you, Ohene. Just you. Addo grabbed his hand. Be careful. The touch lingered. Electric. Ohema's office was a converted maintenance room. She sat behind a desk that looked ancient. When she spoke his name, it felt like she was savoring it. Your grandmother? Did she ever talk about your father? Ohene froze. He died when I was young. Did he? Ohema slid an old photograph across the desk. A younger version of his father stood in the same underground space with a man who looked a lot like Ohema. Meet your uncle, my father, Ohema said, smiling coldly. Welcome home, cousin. Addo waited anxiously by the south entrance, watching Ohene emerge from Ohema's office looking pale. Before she could reach him, another girl intercepted. Kemi, Ohema's right hand. First rule of paradise. Trust no one, Kemi whispered, pressing a burner phone into Addo's hand. Even those you think you love. Your father's investigation won't find anything here. Addo's blood ran cold. They knew why she was here. The journey would take them deep into a web of lies, betrayals, and dangerous secrets. Secrets that had the power to change everything. Would they survive the darkness of Paradise Market and uncover the truth about their families? Or would they become just another part of the system they were trying to escape? Days turned into weeks, and Ohene and Addo lived double lives. By day, they were just ordinary students. By night, they became part of the underground world of Paradise Market, running goods and learning things they never imagined. The experience started to change them. Ohene couldn't forget his father's involvement with the market, and Addo, torn between her duty as the police commissioner's daughter and her feelings for Ohene, felt the weight of the secrets she was carrying. One quiet evening, as they moved through the market, their hands brushed each other in the dark. Addo looked at Ohene, her eyes filled with unspoken words. "We're in too deep," Addo murmured. "Together," Ohene replied, not knowing one of them was lying. Paradise Market's rules were clear until they weren't. When a student from their school disappeared, last seen heading toward the market, the underground buzzed with whispers. Oema called an emergency meeting. "Business as usual," she commanded, but Ohene caught her subtle glance toward the mysterious room. That night, he heard crying behind its walls. The police commissioner's daughter had a choice to make. Her father's investigation was closing in, but her heart pulled her toward Owen. During their nightly sales, she collected evidence, each photo and recording feeling like a betrayal. "I think I'm falling for you," Ohene confessed under the flickering market lights. Addo's phone, recording everything, felt like it was burning a hole in her pocket. Rumors spread through Paradise Market like wildfire. Some said Ohema was planning something big. Others whispered about police movements above ground. The weight of secrets pressed down on everyone. Kemi caught Ohene alone between sales. "Your father wasn't just part of this place," she said. "He built it, and his death wasn't an accident." Before she could say more, Oema's guards appeared, and Kemi vanished into the shadows. During a quiet moment, Ohene sneaked into Ohema's office, hoping to find answers about his father. He discovered an old ledger filled with secrets about the underground market. As he flipped through the pages, a yellowed envelope fell out, addressed to him in his father's handwriting. His heart raced. It was a letter from his father, hidden all these years. Before he could open it, footsteps approached. Panic set in. He shoved the envelope into his pocket, trying to make the room look normal. As the footsteps grew closer, Owen quickly slipped out the back, pressing against the wall to avoid being seen. Once the coast was clear, he hurried away, the letter burning in his pocket. He knew it held the answers he'd been searching for. "We've gathered enough evidence," Addo's father said quietly during their secret meeting. "We take action against Paradise Market next week." Addo's thoughts drifted to Ohene, to their secret moments together in the darkness. She hesitated, wanting to tell him something important. "There's something you should know first," she started. But her phone buzzed, cutting her off. It was an urgent message from Ohema. Meanwhile, Ohene finally uncovered the truth about the mysterious room. It wasn't a place for punishment. It was a high-tech command center used to monitor police movements across Accra. On the main screen, a photo of Addo with her father, the commissioner, flashed. Ohema stepped out of the shadows, a cold smile on her lips. "Now you know. The real question is, what are you going to do about it?" The letter from his father revealed everything. Paradise Market began as a way to help struggling students, but someone had twisted it into something darker. The last page contained a code, coordinates to something hidden in the market's depths. "Your father died protecting this secret," Ohema said, making Owen jump. "Just like my father, your uncle died protecting him." Paradise Market erupted in chaos. Someone had leaked its location to rival gangs. As shots ran out above, Ohene and Addo were trapped in the lower levels. "I have to tell you something," they both said at once. But the ceiling began to crumble. Ohema wasn't who she claimed to be. The real Ohema, Ohene's cousin, had disappeared months ago. This Ohema was an imposter, working for someone with a vendetta against both their families. But who would believe them? The evidence was hidden somewhere in the market's maze of tunnels. Addo's recording device slipped from her pocket amid the chaos. Ohene picked it up, his face filled with understanding as he listened to weeks of their conversations. "I can explain," she started, but they were interrupted by screams from above. Following his father's coordinates, Ohene and Addo discovered a hidden chamber. Inside, they found the real Ohema, weak but alive, and the documents exposing a conspiracy that went beyond the market into the highest levels of Accra's government. The real Ohema, Maya, was Ohene's cousin indeed. "They killed our fathers," she whispered, "because they discovered who controls Accra's underground." Above them, the false Ohema's voice echoed through the market speakers. "Find them. kill them all. Maya revealed the truth. Paradise Market was part of a larger network designed to control Accra's youth and manipulate the city's future. Your father was gathering evidence, Maya said. That's why they silenced him. Addo's police recordings, combined with Maya's documents, painted a complete picture. The fake Ohema worked for a shadow organization called the Circle, wealthy elites who used Paradise Market to control Accra's underground economy. My father's investigation, Addo realized, they've been feeding him false leads. The market exits were blocked, but Maya knew about maintenance tunnels from the colonial era. As they plotted their escape, Ohene and Addo's hands found each other in the darkness. I was undercover, she whispered. But what I feel for you, that's real. The false Ohema's guards were closing in. Through the market security cameras, they watched as familiar faces revealed themselves as traitors. Kwame led the hunt, his earlier friendship a carefully crafted lie. We need to warn the other students, Ohene insisted. They don't know their pawns. Maya broadcast the truth using the market speaker system to every young trader below ground. The reaction was immediate. Chaos erupted as teenagers turned against the guards who'd control them. But the Circle had anticipated this too. The command center had one last surprise, a self-destruct sequence counting down. They had 30 minutes to evacuate hundreds of teenagers and secure the evidence before the entire market collapsed. Like my father, Maya said grimly, they'd rather bury the truth than let it escape. As they coordinated the evacuation, Ohene and Addo worked in perfect sync. Their betrayals and secrets laid bare. They found strength in their shared purpose. If we survive this, Ohene said, we need to talk. When we survive this, Addo corrected. The evacuation was going too smoothly. Maya realized it first. The Circle wanted them to lead everyone out through the colonial tunnels. Something worse waited above ground. Using Addo's police connections and the market's tech, they broadcast the Circle's secrets to every screen in Accra. The city awakened to the corruption in its midst. But victory came with a price. With 5 minutes until detonation, they discovered Kwame had locked himself in the control room. The self-destruct sequence could be stopped, but only from inside. I was loyal to the wrong people, he said through the door. Let me make it right. The market trembled with controlled explosions, strategically set by Kwame to block the Circle's escape routes, trapping them underground with the damning evidence of their crimes. When they emerged, Accra was different. Police sirens blared, reporters flooded the scene, and tearful reunions unfolded as parents rushed to find their children. Members of the Circle were led away in handcuffs. and their reign over the underground economy shattered. Ohene and Addo stepped into the harsh sunlight, still holding hands, their bond stronger than ever. Maya publicly reclaimed her identity, courageously testifying about the circle's operations. Paradise Market was gone, but the lessons it taught about power, corruption, and the unyielding courage to fight both remained. The spice stall had served as a cover, a shield for Maya and Ohene's father, who was part of a long-standing line of guardians protecting Accra's vulnerable from exploitation. Their sacrifice had not been in vain. Addo's father embraced her, proud of her undercover work, but prouder still of her moral compass. You found the truth, he said, and you found your heart. Weeks later, Paradise Market's former traders gathered in a legal community center funded with recovered funds. Underground skills turned legitimate, helping local businesses thrive. Some scars remained. Kwame survived but carried the weight of his choices. The false Ohemaya vanished in custody, suggesting the circle's influence wasn't completely broken. Ohene and Addo's relationship became a symbol of hope, proof that truth and love could coexist and that good could emerge from darkness. The real Ohemaya had plans to transform the underground network into something positive, a support system for struggling students, as it was meant to be. Not everyone from the circle was caught. Sometimes Ohene spotted familiar faces in crowds watching. The fight wasn't over. It had just changed form. Other underground markets across Accra began to stir, inspired by the revolution sparked at Paradise Market. Maya worked closely with Addo's father to help transform them into legitimate youth centers, providing hope and empowerment to young people across the city. At a traditional healing ceremony, Ohene's grandmother blessed his relationship with Addo, recognizing their bond as a symbol of lasting change for Accra. The data from the market secured by Addo before its collapse continued to expose widespread corruption. Each revelation carried both peril and promise. But Ohene embraced his family's legacy not as a burden, but as a shared mission. With Addo by his side, he helped others escape the same exploitation he once faced. The community center flourished, becoming a beacon of youth empowerment. Former traders taught vital skills like business, technology, and ethical decision making. A year later, intelligence suggested that the circle was regrouping in another city. This time, Ohene and Addo were ready. A network of young guardians united by the lessons of Paradise Market. Having survived the trials of their past, Ohene and Addo graduated, their love stronger than ever. They planned to study law together, determined to fight corruption from within. Maya's youth centers spread across West Africa, turning the underground into a force for positive change. On the anniversary of Paradise Market's fall, Ohene and Addo returned to the sealed entrance. Though the halls were silent, the echoes of their actions reverberated through the transformed city. Ready for the next chapter? Addo asked, squeezing his hand. Ohene smiled, knowing the road ahead would be tough, but that they would face it together. Together, he replied, always together. Share your thoughts and the most valuable lesson from this story in the comments below. We'd love to hear from you. Have you enjoyed this story and want to uncover more lessons, mysteries, and financial insights? Don't stop here. Click on our other videos above to dive into more captivating tales and timeless wisdom from across Africa. There's so much more to explore. Don't miss out. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next adventure.